Hi, my name is Jane Sandberg. I'm a librarian at Linn Benton Community College, which is a small to medium-sized community college in semi-rural Oregon. Our library uses Blacklight in two ways. First is as part of our institutional repository, which is a Samvera repository running on the Hyrax engine. The main update on that app is that it has been migrated to Azure Kubernetes service. The Kubernetes setup uses the Hyrax Helm charts, and that made the transition relatively smooth. Huge thank you to Tamsin Johnson, Rob Kaufman, and Ryan Ordway for their support whenever I had a question throughout that process. Our other Blacklight app is our discovery layer, Find It. And there are three things I'd like to show you here. The first is that we use the field test gem to do some automated A and B testing of our users. And to do that, we created three different versions of our Bento search results page. One had really minimal metadata, one with a bit more, with like author and date, and one that had a ton of metadata in there. And we set those up as three different views, and then use the field test gem to show different views to different users. And so this is just an example commit, and this shows one particular view that we added to the test. It then checked to see if the user was converted. Basically, did they end up clicking into any records? And I just did that by overriding the show method here in the catalog controller. Then we just sat back and watched the field test dashboard to see how successful the different views were. And so this is just the default dashboard that is included with the field test gem. And my colleagues and I just like absolutely loved it. It presents the data really simply, didn't give you any kind of creepy Google Analytics type info. All the data are anonymized, so you can just get the information you need to make a quick, informed decision about which search result design worked the best. So we just let this run for about 2 weeks, chose the version that performed the best, and that's what we've got in production right now. And you can see there's a little check mark because that's the one that we declared to be the winner of the test. The next thing that I wanted to show you is our suite of relevance tests. Basically, whenever I get a report that something problematic is happening with the search results, I will download the relevant MARC records and add them to the test fixtures. I'll then write a test using the excellent RSpec Solar matchers from Stanford. And these tests are always something really simple. So for example, in this first test, we ask for this query, we expect these particular relevant documents to be within the first three results of this search query. And then after writing the test, I'll make the Solar configuration changes, run the spec, and see if it did the trick. This process has helped me catch several regression errors that I've made. I've also been pretty intimidated to touch Solar too much prior to developing this test suite, so having it has given me a lot more courage to configure Solar to better meet patron needs. Big thank you to Stanford for that RSpec Solar gem, and to David Kinzer for showing me the relevance tests that he developed at Temple, and those were a great model for me in putting these together. The final thing I wanted to show off is a bit of a celebration. Since 2017, we've had a script that sends out emails to our faculty about new books in their disciplines. It basically looks at the call number of a given book, then looks through this monster list of regular expressions that represent call number ranges that we determined are of interest to particular departments. If it matches, it notifies the faculty in that department about the book. A lot of people have put a lot of work into the script, including librarians who defined and refined those call number ranges, a computer science student who contributed to the script early on, and did a lot of design work on those emails too, and librarians who've also contributed design work, and myself. Fast forward to March 2021, my colleagues were trying to collaborate with faculty on weeding and collection review projects. Historically, they just brought faculty members into the library to browse their section on the shelf, and then give us feedback about what we should keep and what we should weed. However, with the library building closed and most of us working remotely, that wasn't going to work too well. I got a request for some kind of new tool that allowed faculty to browse their section online, hopefully with all of our subscription ebooks in there, not just the print books on the shelf. And it turned out to be super easy to just refactor those call number regular expressions from the email script into their own gem. I added a simple traject macro to find it that used the gem to determine which departments might be the most interested in a particular document. And then it just shows up as a facet in Find It. So if I want to show the Women's Studies department their section, for example, it's just a case of sending them a link to this facet. Same deal for the welding department or the dental assistant department. And this made me so happy, since it was one of those times where we had put a lot of work in beforehand, and that made it really easy to be nimble when responding to emergent needs. Thanks so much for watching, and I'm really looking forward to some great conversations with you at the summit.